When forming a COL, there's pretty much 4 phases that you'll go through. There is forming relationships, there is developing a collective purpose, there is the planning for a change that you're trying to achieve, and then there's the actual collective action where the action starts to kick in and make that happen. Just those 4 headings gives you an idea. This is going to take time, and anyone who's actually been involved in communities like this, and there are many around the country who have, they will tell you it will take time. So one of the most important things they will say to you is, it's not a race. You've got to take time to get this right. Time well spent now building relationships will be a bigger determinant to the success that you like to get as a community working together. So the first phase that we've talked about is building the relationship. Who's your tribe? You have a very specific school community of your own. You are entering into a new kind of community, but that doesn't mean the other community ceases to exist. So you're looking at developing a different kind of community. Everyone who's been involved in this knows it takes time. Particularly you're finding out who fits with you, who has the same challenges, who has very similar philosophies and ideas that you can build off as well. And from that point, you've actually got a group that, as you build that relationship, you build understanding of each other, and from that understanding, you're ready for building your collective purpose. So the second evolution of forming the COL is the developing the collective purpose. And this really, it sort of starts in amongst building relationships as well. They're not mutually exclusive. In fact, what some people will find is there will be movement backwards and forwards. If you find the collective purpose might be struggling, sometimes it's good to go back and relook at the relationships. Some communities are going to say, hey, actually now we're looking at this purpose, it doesn't suit us. That's fine. They need to find someone else to build another relationship with. So while you're looking at this, what you're doing is you're gathering the tacit knowledge that you and all the other community participants have, the knowledge that you have around your children, because you do know them and you know the local context. With that, you can add a bit of data as well, which may be helpful. But you really need to start with the children, not the data. The data is about the children, so start with the children first. And from that, you start to develop an idea of the pathway of learning, the ideal pathway that children and students should be travelling through in this community that you are representing collectively. Once you've got your collective purpose, what you'll be looking at is who needs support to succeed in it. And there'll be specific groups that you'll find in there. So the question is, who are they? What are the causal factors? Why are they likely to be at risk of not succeeding? And then once you've got those factors in mind, what will you do to try and make a difference? Where is the system change for those kids that you can do as a community? And then from that, you're also looking at who can deliver those, because there may be things beyond a school's capacity to do. And you'll need partners from the broader community. It might be a government agency, it could be an NGO, a church group or someone like that. So you need to pull those partners in as well to develop that plan that you're going to have now. What is the plan to make the change? The theory of change, as a lot of people like to call it. And at this stage too, when you're looking at those children who need the most support to succeed, this is where you're making decisions about equity, not about equal shares. So it's not about spreading the resource over everybody. It's about where can you make the most difference within your community around that plan that you have. So once you've got the plan for change, the theory for change agreed to, you're going to have to start looking at what kind of leadership structure do you need to bring this about. What is the structure of principal leadership, or what is the structure of professional teacher leadership, and who might be the best people that can bring that to be. One thing I do urge people to do, even if you want to stretch it to get a more flexible leadership structure than a single hierarchical structure, the Ministry of Education does need at least one person to know that's the go-to. It's not fair to expect them to run around a variety of people to find out where the answers are. So whatever structure you have, there still needs to be someone that can draw it all together and pass that on to the ministry. However, it really depends on what your plan is. It might be a single leader is the ideal approach for you guys, if that's what you think. It might be 3 leaders across 2 years. It really depends on what your plan is asking for and how many different areas of expertise you may need, because you might have 3 to 4 different angles you're working in this plan for change, not just one singular approach. So now you've gone through all those phases of forming your goal, you're into the action, and this is where by this stage you should have a tribe you're happy with, you're really developing healthy problem solving solutions, and you have conditions that help you and all your partners make a real difference for the children within your community. You've got partnerships solving real life problems, local and systemic, because they're not just local sometimes, so it can be an issue. And you have a flexible structure and plan that will stretch as it needs, because best laid plans always run awry, so you have to be able to be movable and address differences as they arise or new things that you didn't anticipate. And from that you should have a thriving, exciting community to work with.